Hi, welcome to Leaving Crazy Town with Finn and Sarah. Sarah, what are we going to talk about today?
Take 1800. Okay. We're talking about how to respond to a 911, either a call or someone's really upset.
People are having emergencies all over.
People have emergency. That's part of
Drama.
crazy recovery, right? Part of codependency is we get hooked by people. We want to help people. We want to take away all their feelings. And so think about this. Do you have a lot of chaos in your life? Do you have a lot of drama in your life? Do you have a lot of people around you having intense feelings? And if that's not the case, I want you to think about this. Are there certain people in your life that hook you?
And here's another thing. Do you say to yourself, yes, I want to do this, and things will get better once things are resolved with my dad, or things will be okay once I get my kids situated.
Yes.
Or there's a lot of different ways that the 911 drama can show up in your life. And if you hear yourself talking about once something else is fixed,
very good,
you'll be okay.
Yes.
You might be hooked.
Yes. So again, if your life isn't chaotic, think about like people that kind of get you activated and you get hooked in and want to save them. And we have a lot of examples of that. Not just save them, but make their lives better or take away their feelings or whatever it is. Fix it.
Fix it.
Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we've got some good examples.
Patient Finn's going to start.
It's just that
my life is a plethora of examples.
You got a lot of family stuff right now. Okay, go ahead.
My whole life is basically YouTube content. We're trying to leave Crazy Town, but people keep sucking us back in.
Yes.
No.
Right.
So I go to work a couple times a month. This just happened recently. And while I'm at work, I'm very busy. And obviously, some people can chat on the phone when they're at work and some people can't. And I happen to be in a day when I could not.
Yes.
And I went to a meeting. I came back from a meeting. I look at my phone and I see my stepmother's called me at 10 o'clock, 10:02, 10:07, 10:11, 10:17. There's voicemails coming, downloading. My sister texted me that my stepmother was trying to reach me. And then my sister called and
okay. Chaos is beginning. At this point, chaos is beginning. And just remember this, folks. It's not even Finn's emergency. Obviously, this other person is having an emergency of some kind. And now it's seeping over into Finn's world. Okay.
Okay. So 2 years ago, I would have gone, oh my God, my dad's dead.
Right.
Today, I've explained to my father and his wife that an emergency worthy of many phone calls and voicemails is bleeding from the jugular.
Yes.
Somebody's dead on the floor.
Yes.
Those are emergencies.
Legitimate emergencies.
So I end up looking at the phone. I text my sister. I said, thank you for letting me know that our stepmother, who's called me 5 times, is trying to reach me, but I cannot talk on the phone right now. I'll call her later.
Let me just intervene 1 second. Someone might be thinking, well, what if someone was dying? Like maybe the person really needed to get a hold of you.
But if I answered the phone or not, they're still going to be dying.
Yeah, I just want to say this, though. We are talking about our codependency recovery because Finn has a history with this person. So it's not like this is new. Okay. So I just want to say, yes, if someone's calling me 10 times, my brother, to tell me, that his wife died or whatever, that's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But the difference is, when I get these phone calls, I used to go,
yes.
And then I'd be dialing back and then find out it's
nothing.
The cat,
they're having a feeling.
They bought a cat or something, they got a letter in the mail or somebody called.
Okay.
And instead of I'm amped up for 10 minutes till I reach them to make sure no one's dead, I don't do that anymore because we've cried wolf so many times that when the phone rings, and I also know today, I've gotten those phone calls. My mother's dead, suddenly all these things. And I know today that if I answer the call on the first ring, or the 50th phone call, they're still dead.
Yes.
And not me getting amped up and freaking out.
Doesn't help.
What may or may not have happened isn't going to resolve the issue. It's only going to ruin my day.
Very good point. The whole point of codependency recovery, thinking about how we're being affected. Okay, go ahead. Take away.
So I ultimately decided that I had, many things happened that day. And I wasn't in a space to call my stepmother back.
No, so you couldn't call back.
It was something about my dad and he hasn't paid rent and she doesn't know, and the landlord, and this whole story. And it's kind of been going on for a while.
A lot of drama.
I had offered help to my dad. I said, Dad, do you need help? Go to the bank, figure it out. Cause he insisted he had paid, whatever. So he never asked me for help, but now my stepmother's calling. So ultimately the next day when I was in a space, I asked for help. I gave her a call. She starts going on about my dad's behavior. And I said, does my father want my help? Because I'm not going to resolve my dad's problem with his rent by talking to my stepmother about how my dad's acting.
But this is great. Just interrupt. It's not even like the stepmother isn't even resolving it with the person there. Do you see what I'm saying? She's calling Finn to resolve it. Again, entering CrazyTown. Okay, so go ahead, just to say that.
So I said to her on the phone, does my dad want help? She said yes. And I said, then have him call me tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Have him call, right?
So at 10 o'clock, the next day, my dad did call. And unfortunately, I was in a phone call with my boss and I couldn't pick up. So I got many phone calls from her after my dad called. But I called my dad within 10 minutes. So to say many phone calls within 10 minutes, yes. If you can see this person is very high anxiety, everything's a 911. It's not my 911.
Right.
It's not my 911. So, I'm activated in, oh my God, there's a problem with their rent. Do I have to pay for it? Right. So all my own crazy starts coming and I just like breathing through it. Like it's not
right.
We don't even know what's going on.
We don't even know.
So I talked to my dad. He says that he's 2 months behind in rent and it's because they had said he wasn't paying rent, but he went to the bank. He got the canceled checks. He's paid rent. He's fine. This is what my dad says. His wife through the whole conversation is yelling in the background and telling him what to say to me and telling him that what he's saying isn't true through, and my dad.
Who is the problem here? Just to like, who's the one with the problem? Your stepmother, right? She's the one with the issue. Like, it's so fascinating to me. He's not the one with the problem. Okay, go ahead.
So my dad says, oh, can you talk to Maria? So now he wants me to calm her down. I said, I'm not a marital counselor, Dad.
Great response.
I said, if you need my help, you ask me. I'm not talking to your wife for you.
Great response.
I said, because she's just going to repeat the story because she has anxiety. She's living in fear. She's afraid she's going to be homeless and she needs to go pray and deal with that. Like, I didn't want to be rude, but so many times I have tried to calm her down, calm my dad. Not my problem.
Yes.
My life. I said, I have things going on in my own life that I resolve.
Right.
And if you're having a problem with your wife, you guys need to talk to each other.
Yes.
Not me.
Yes. Do you totally see how that whole chaotic situation, like literally is just about the stepmother wants to take her anxiety. She can't tolerate it and put it on Finn. And part of our work being in co-crazy recovery is to give the problem back to the person with the problem, right? We can offer encouragement, support, whatever.
And my whole family's getting involved. So now my sisters who I've been talking to are wrapped up in it and we're all working on it together. And we came to this agreement. She's concerned that my dad's not paying rent. It's a joint checking account. Her name is on it. My sister encouraged her to go to the bank and discover the truth for herself.
Yes.
Do not try to discover the truth of what our father's doing through us because we have no idea. And it's not my problem. Now, I will tell you this. To walk through this and say this stuff 2-3 years ago, I would have been doubled over in pain.
Yes.
Today, it's just freedom for me. Like, I have to stop myself because I got to tell you, when I get multiple phone calls, yes, my head does try to tell me something really wrong is going on. When, everybody's upset, my natural instinct is to jump in and fix.
Yes.
I'm a fixer. But I just take a deep breath and I stay back and I try to think clearly, not my feelings around it.
Yes.
Like, wait, what's a resolution? The resolution is that's their problem.
Yes.
I'm not here to fix it. I'm dealing with my life.
Yes. So this is the key to this scenario. And when other people have 911s, I know friends of mine and clients, like their dad will call with some emergency or want to discuss something, or their child. I used to have lots of clients that their adult children would call with some emergency. Oh, my car broke down and I need my, blah, blah, blah. And again, it's remembering it's not your emergency. Again, not that you can't be supportive or help, but it's looking at what is this doing to my body, my feelings, my mind? Am I taking on their problem now?
Look, can I tell you something that runs through my head?
Yes, go ahead.
And I know that we have to wrap it up, but
Get ahead.
What I thought about was, oh my God, what if my dad really isn't paying rent? What if my dad, these are the things.
Yes.
What if my dad really isn't paying rent? What if he's really upset and he's secretly feeling guilt and shame and then he kills himself? And that's my way of being like, oh my God, I should do something. I should intervene. I should fix it. But I just back off of that. That runs through my head. That's a reality.
Well, because the fact is, why do we end up fixing something? Because of our own fear.
Right.
But our own fear is really not about the other person.
Yeah.
It's about us. So it's looking at, if you do start getting hooked and taking on the person's issue, try to pause. Here we go with the pause and just notice.
Do nothing.
Try to pause. Try to notice. And you can always say to this is a key tool, right? Let me get back to you. Let me get back to you. You do not have to respond immediately. Let me get back to you gives you some time to step back, think about it, ask yourself the following questions. Is this really my problem?
Get some space between the emergency and the response.
Yes.
That's why I didn't call back till the next day, because I couldn't.
Yes. And very often in my work with addicts, someone would call me with a 911. This was classic. Call me with a 911. I need to get to treatment, blah, blah, blah. I'm really, and I, over the years, learned to not call them back till the next day, because what would often happen is I'd spend all day getting them a bed somewhere or getting them into looking their insurance, doing all this work.
And then crickets.
And then the next day, they were nowhere to be found.
That just happened to me. Remember the guy who wanted to watch it? Yeah.
So again, sometimes people have a 911 that the next day, suddenly the thought, that was not an emergency.
I overreacted.
Yes, I overreacted. So that's another thing to remember. So 2 things. Remember this. It's not your issue. Number 2 is get some space. Oh, and this is a biggie. Okay, you guys, this is the bottom line with Co-Crazy Recovery in the book. If you actually do fix it or change it, it's not helping the person.
No.
Oh,
and a lot of these emergencies are being brought to my doorstep because we could spend 10 minutes or more explaining all the ways I have answered and rescued.
And it
with my dad and his wife. And it's just another problem around the corner.
It's just another problem around the corner. We're going to end this video, but just remember, when you get hooked and you do the Co-Crazy thing, it doesn't help you, because it activates you. And ultimately, it doesn't help them. And I'm not kidding. You have to trust me on this.
If they don't problem solve, you don't let them, they will never learn.
Amen. We're leaving CrazyTown.
Fasten your seatbelts.
I know people. This is tough. We love you.